Supreme Court justices are not the only ones being whisked away on fancy, lavish, luxury vacations. Turns out that members of Congress are also being lured in by all of these presents and all of these trips, and to a much greater extent. So, according to a new analysis of House travel disclosure data by the Howard Center for Investigative Journalism at the University of Maryland in partnership with POLITICO, US representatives and their staff have taken at least 17,000 trips since 2012 that were paid for by private parties, many of them nonprofits with deep ties to lobbyists and special interests. You guys starting to notice a trend here with the nonprofits? You know, just because they're nonprofits doesn't mean that they're the good guys. Congressional rules prohibit lobbyists, by the way, from playing a significant role in organizing or participating in trips sponsored by corporate entities. That's according to POLITICO. But none of these restrictions, however, applies to nonprofits such as the Congressional Institute, which regularly arranges multi-day trips to luxury hotels and resorts along the mid-Atlantic coast. Guests mingle with private sector institute members who pay as much as $27,500 annually for access to the invite-only retreats. And there is nothing preventing lobbyists and industry officials from participating as speakers or attendees at these events. So it is a loophole and it is being taken advantage of. I mean, it is incredible, right? And by the way, finally, you have like a major publication looking into the bad behavior of some of these nonprofits, right? I mean, we've seen it happen to some extent here in California. It manifests in a different way, especially when it comes to government grants given to nonprofits to help the homeless, and they end up not helping the homeless. They end up helping their own pockets. But you see it also happen on a federal level through basically the interests of corporations, right? They utilize these nonprofits in order to funnel these lavish trips and all these presents to members of Congress, which of course influences them at the end of the day.
Yeah, and some people might be wondering, well, why would the nonprofits be a party to this? Well, first of all, they could be ideologically totally aligned with corporations. Simply because they themselves are not a profit-seeking organization does not mean that they don't have the same goals or even the same boards as profit-seeking bodies. Some companies set up nonprofit arms, basically, or closely affiliated things. So that could certainly be a reason. Also, the nonprofits need to be funded. Where do they get their funding from? In a lot of cases from corporations, or certainly from executives at corporations. And so again, the ties can be super strong. The thing that's most frustrating about this sort of story, and I love that we have the journalism here, similar to, as you alluded to in your intro, the great work that was done, particularly by ProPublica, in tracking corruption by Supreme Court justices, is it's so obvious what's happening and why things are set up the way they are. And yet, like, you would think, shouldn't like every Republican voter be incensed by this? I mean, they think that this is the deep state. They're all not just corrupt, but they're cannibal pedophiles or whatever. So should we clamp down on their ability to get rich in office? No, we should do literally nothing about it. They should be able to give the speaking tours for a lot of money, make tons of money off of books that literally nobody reads. They should come in middle class or a little bit wealthy and leave uber wealthy, and nothing should be done. They should be able to, trade stocks and all that. Like this, there should be this groundswell of support for anti-corruption measures, and I just don't see it.
I think there actually is support among the Republican electorate to do something about corruption. The problem is,
are they calling out Republican politicians who take part in this?
They do. They call them rhinos. I mean, that label doesn't quite make sense, but it's their way of lashing out at Republicans who they see as super corrupt. I mean, part of the reason why there was a groundswell of support for Donald Trump is because he was seen in their minds as like the person calling all these corrupt politicians out, including Republicans.
But they've utterly ignored his own corruption.
I mean, agreed, yes.
Lauren Boebert with her travel scandal. Like,
yes, no, I totally agree. And so, look, I don't know why that disconnect exists, because they do complain about corruption, but for some reason they're hands off when it comes to Donald Trump's corruption. I don't know if it's because Donald Trump goes around unmanning all of the politicians that they despise, but it is true. I mean, Miriam Adelson committed to donating $90 million to Donald Trump as long as Trump greenlights the annexation of the West Bank, Israel's annexation of the West Bank. So the corruption is all around, and Donald Trump certainly is not immune to it. Like, he's definitely also taking all sorts of bribes, and he does keep his promises to his funders. There's no question about that. Now, the Congressional Institute, which is run by Republican staffers, has greatly exploited this loophole. Let's see to what extent. So between 2012 and 2023, Capitol Hill staff members and one lawmaker took more than 4,200 trips on the Institute's dime.
How do you even organize that many trips? So many emails.
Yeah, yeah, that does sound like a drag, I gotta be honest. But like, okay. Like, these are members of Congress who are free to trade stocks based on insider information. Many of them come into Congress middle class, they're not rich, they're not wealthy, and somehow through their congressional salary become millionaires. Gee, I wonder how that happens. So like,
they're investing genius.
Do you really need this nonprofit to take you on trips? You can't pay for your own goddamn trips? What is wrong with these people?
I mean, money is great, but free money is greater, I guess.
These people are so scummy. Okay.
Clarence Thomas is a wealthy man. Why does he need to be flown around the world? He can afford to pay for it, but he'd prefer that someone else do it. They're terrible, they're greedy, they have dragon sickness, that's just what it is.
So out of the 12 board members at the Congressional Institute, 11 of them are 11 of them are actually federal lobbyists or were at some point in their career. So board members' recent clients include major economic players on the Fortune 500 list, including ExxonMobil, Toyota, JP Morgan Chase, and Meta, formerly Facebook. Let's get it right.
Yeah. Small businesses.
Agree.
So.
And finally, from 2012 to 2023, at least 3/4 of the Institute's board members were registered lobbyists while serving on the board, according to tax and lobbying records. In fiscal year 2023, 86% of the Institute's revenue came from membership dues, and more than half of expenses were for hosting congressional trips. Bribing excursions.
Do we know anything else that they do?
No, this is
like
what they do.
Other than bribery,
this is all they do. This is what they do.
You don't put out a paper every once in a while.
The whole purpose of this nonprofit was to take advantage of this loophole, wine and dine, members of Congress, and ensure that they work on behalf of the very corporations that help to bankroll these trips, as opposed to the American people who elected them to represent them.
Did you see Kirsten Sinema's recent video that came out?
Kirsten Sinema can shut the fuck up.
I thought it was awesome.
No one gives a fuck
so
what Kirsten
brazen.
Sinema. Yeah, whatever. Just whatever. I love Joe Manchin too. Like, you guys are almost done. We can't wait to get rid of you. Like, I love that he's like, I will not be endorsing Kamala Harris because she wants to do away with the Senate filibuster so we can codify reproductive rights. No one gives a fuck, bro. You're not running for re-election. Go away.
Remember,
go away.
This guy talked about possibly running as a third-party candidate because he could bring America together. Like, he's arguably more delusional than Joe Biden.
Can we just also acknowledge the fact that he really thought he had some leverage here? He's like,
oh, about the endorsement?
Yeah. No one cared. Like, Manchin, your endorsement is not gonna make or break Kamala Harris,
okay? I think he ruined her day. I think that right now she's somewhere just thinking about, like, I lost Joe. Probably lost the whole thing. I don't know.
It's pathetic.
Who the hell cares about Joe Manchin?
Not me. All right, so let's do this Tufts story. First of all, Tufts is not my favorite college name.
It sounds both cute and dirty at the same time.
It does, you're right, you're so right.
It sounds like a stuffed animal, but not one you wanna hug.